Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today we're going to do a video about GitHub. We're going to go ahead and create a repository. We're going to use that repository for controlling versions of our reverse proxy. I've been using this for a little bit just to pretty much control if I make any changes and it for whatever reason when I push it to my server and it does not work as intended, then I go ahead and revert back to the previous version or whatever the case may be. I also use it for if I need to migrate it to a different server, or for whatever reason, maybe, I don't know, bring it somewhere else. I go ahead and delete it off one server and then just clone it or git clone it onto another server. Super easy, definitely useful, and I think GitHub is something that is a skill that a lot of people are looking for going forward. So with that being said, let's get after it. Alright, so first thing, we're going to go ahead, we're going to log into our GitHub. Obviously, I made a GitHub specific just for YouTube, so when I go ahead and make these videos and these different tutorials, same with an email, so I'm not giving away any information more than I need to. So we're just going to go ahead and go to create a repository. It also allows me to pretty much walk you step by step instead of trying to hide information or whatever. Again, I don't want to like give out maybe my SSH keys or any weird stuff like that. Alright, so you're going to create a name. So we're going to go ahead and make this name. We're just going to say NGINX underscore YouTube. We're going to name it for YouTube purposes only. I'm going to make that a private repository so it's not out on the web. I'm going to go ahead and create the repository. Perfect. So it gives us pretty much the steps that we're going to have to follow here, which is actually nice to have. This is going to be your link to your repository. That's pretty much it for now. Alright, so now that you have created that repository on GitHub, you want to make sure that you create that same repository or directory on your server. So I went ahead and already did that. I have already uploaded all the files that I'm going to be using inside of my directory or inside of my repository. As you can see, this is a reverse proxy Docker compose file that I'm using. This is not the one I'm using in my production environment or in my lab, I should say, but instead it is a previous setup that I've used, so it does have actual config files inside of there, and my Let's Encrypt, which is actually not used right now. Now that you have everything here, there's just some commands you want to go ahead and run. There's going to be some issues that are going to pop up. There's going to be two issues specifically that I'm talking about that was not mentioned on that website after we created that repository, which we will cover once it does come up. So the first command after creating that repository, we want to initialize this directory. So we're going to run the git init. As you can see, I already have done this previously, but I reinitialize the existing git repository, and then it also creates us that hidden directory labeled as .git. The next one we want to do is we're going to go ahead and run the git status command. This is going to show everything that is going to be uploaded to the repository. As you can see, we have no commits yet, but we go ahead and run the git add. That's going to add everything that we see here. And we could also run the git commit. This is where we're going to run into our issue right here. So git commit -m, and then this is the message that we want to say. So if we ever want to revert back to maybe a certain version, this is where we want to explain what changes we made to that version. So we're just going to say initial commit of reverse proxy. And then you're going to run into this first issue. So we don't have this or any of these settings configured yet. So we want to make sure that we go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and run the git config. And then the email that I had created is going to be youtube@gmail.com. Alright, and then all you want to do after that is just run the username. So mine is KAG-YT. I can just do this. Alright, so now that you had added your email and your name, you go ahead and run that same command we tried running before, which is the commit message. There we go. That is saying that we had committed the 23 files to that repository. So the next one, we want to go ahead and we're going to specify the branch, which is going to be the main branch. especially considering that's all there is. Then you're gonna run this command. All that it's gonna be is gonna be your so if you go to your actual repository, you're gonna take the end of your link. Well, you can really take the whole thing, but the only one that's gonna matter, you're gonna put a colon, you're gonna put that link, and then just make sure you add a .git at the end of it. Again, that's also going to be shown. If you were to go here, it's going to be shown right here. But in the future, if you ever to maybe do another repository and for whatever reason that wasn't there, you go ahead and just do what I just did. Alright, perfect. Then all you got to do now is just going to go ahead and push this. But this is where we're going to run into the second problem. The problem that we're going to run into is that we do not have permission to do so because of the public key it says. So pretty much we do not have SSH keys set up on the server. So we got to make sure that we go ahead and do that. Which the GitHub does give us a pretty good instruction on how to go about this. So if you were to go to your settings, go to the SSH keys, and down here you can just go ahead and click this, and this will bring up this this instruction right here. Alright, so first step that we want to go ahead and just pretty much run this command right here. Just copy and paste that. Obviously you're going to use your own email. For now, for this lab, I'm just going to go ahead and skip over, or I'm not going to use a passphrase. We're going to save it in the SSH directory as the default name. We're not going to use a passphrase for this lab. And then if we were to list out our home directory or our SSH in our home directory, we should see those two keys created. Alright, so then the next step, it has us added to the agent, which I've done previously, but I will go ahead and do it again. See what we get out of that. So this is the passphrase that we were just talking about. So down here at the bottom, first things first, you just want to make sure that it is running in the background. So you can just go ahead and copy this copy and paste this as well. Alright, there's your PID. That's the process identifier for that. And then you just want to go ahead. Again, if you change the file name for whatever reason, you just want to make sure you use the right file name. I did not change it, so I could literally just copy and paste that as well. So we have added that identity. And then last but not least is all we got to do now is just add the contents of the public file, which was right here. We want to add this to our GitHub. So how we can do that is that we could go into our right here. We're gonna do a new SSH key, and we'll just say YouTube. I cannot spell. And then all you want to do here is copy and paste. So if we were to go back into our server, I don't know why I did that. And then we just paste it. Add SSH key. Alright, so now you can see that's added. It's never been used. Now if we would go back into our server and we run that command of pushing it, we should be able to get in. Alright, so there we go. It looks like that we have wrote the objects and everything is pushed to the Git repository. So just to verify, if we were to open up and go back to our repository, you just go here, go to your repositories, click on that. There you go. So as you can see that we have the commit right here. So this is all the files obviously that we had talked about, the data directory, let's encrypt, and then the Docker compose file. Then if you were to go click on here, you could see this is the initial commit of the reverse proxy that we talked about, and that's really it as far as uploading it to your GitHub repository. Just to show, we could also make it, let's make a quick change real quick and we'll show how to commit it again without all those extra steps. So let's go ahead and open our server again. Let's go ahead and make that directory again. So we'll just do test directory, and then we're going to just touch. Run the git status command. Obviously, as we can see, we have the test directory now. So we're going to go ahead and hit git add. Then we're going to run the git commit. Alright, so now we just committed that. We already specified the branch. We already did the remote origin command. All we gotta do now is just run the git push. I believe you don't even have to put that in. You just do git push and it should be fine. Yep. So we'll go ahead and we'll just open up that repository again. And there you go. Now test has been added. Here's the commit message that we put, adding test directory. Same thing if you go into 2 commits. You could see that same commit right here. And you could actually see everything. If there was a file inside of that or the contents inside of that, we could see the changes as well. Super cool. So next, we're just going to do a quick overview, or we're going to do a quick review of cloning this directory. So if maybe you wanted to migrate this to a different server, or if you have a new server that's up and running, you just want to pull it from the repository and then just be up and running. We're going to cover that real quick. All right, so all you have to do really, let's remove everything. Let's remove all of this, right? So we're just gonna remove. Oh, gotta go back. All right, so that directory is gone. So for whatever reason, maybe we lost it and we want to get it back, and it's already been committed to our repository. All we would have to do is pretty much just go to our repository, copy the link at the top, and then git clone. We are going to run into an issue though, because we do not have what is called an access token yet. But you're going to plug in your username. So mine was CAD. And then the password. But that is not the case. So as it says right here, that password that you thought might have been is not, and it has been removed on August 13th, 2021. And it also tells us to use a access token instead. So simply all you have to do is just go to your settings. Down here under developer settings, go to personal access tokens, generate a new token. We'll just say YouTube. I hit enter by accident. Generate a new token. So YouTube. So changes to 7 days. And down here you have all these options that pretty much is like an ACL or a privilege for anybody that would have this access token. They could do these options. We just want to do this one, just an easy way to read and write and pretty much have access to these private repositories. Generate token. Alright, so now you're just gonna do that same thing. You're gonna use this as your password though. Git clone. Then you're gonna paste that in there. There it is. Alright guys, super short video. I just want to get this video out there. I really enjoyed this. I'm definitely going to be using this going forward, and I know there's a lot more that goes into GitHub, so I'm super excited to learn all of that. And I hope the more I learn about it, I hope the more I could get it out there, because it is definitely useful and is definitely used today outside in the production environment. So please give this video a like, subscribe, or dislike. Let me know what you think. Send some comments out there. Cool. Alright guys, have a good day. As always, never stop learning.